What's going on, everybody? This is Living in Arizona Now, and today we're going to talk about how the world is changing, but how it's going to impact Arizona in the next 5 to 10 years. Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball, but what we do know is that projections, predictions from the most powerful people in the world, the way that the world is headed right now, based on everything we're seeing, things are going to change faster than we've ever seen. There was people who tried to say that what happened in 2020 would never happen. There was people that tried to say that what happened in 2001 would, it was not possible to happen. And then all those things happen and people get like a wake up call. I remember in 2020 when it was January and February, people were still in denial about what was coming. I wasn't sure either. But one thing I do know is that the writing is now on the wall. Things are changing quickly. You have uh, destabilization of global politics. We have a lot of trade wars going on, talks of World War III. We have conversations about how tech is going to replace and displace many different industries. We know that this is happening. I've seen it in Phoenix, for example. Any one of you have ever driven in a Waymo? Smash up the likes. If you've never driven in a Waymo, smash up the likes. But let me know if you can hear me smash up the likes, because I can see we got 59 viewers, but I don't see anyone commenting. So all I need is someone to let me know where they're watching from, and that will help. But uh, getting back on topic here, there is a lot of stuff changing in this world today. And here's where I see it the most socially in the United States. I feel like people are going crazy. Social media is driving people crazy. Where you see it the most is it's almost like you guys, I would say almost all of us, not even just you or anyone, people in general are wishing for the demise and the fall of others. It's like, it's become like the trend. Everyone wants to see someone fall. It's like they want to see their favorite celebrity get arrested and locked up and thrown in prison. They want to see their former president get locked up. They want to see the former politicians get locked up. Okay, wow, we got lots of people letting me know. Shout out to Prinzel, JC, Wander, Tim Paris, Stuck in the 80s, Corey, Bruce, Michael, Cindy, Adam, Patrick, David, Aline, Blink J. Blink, I'll blink. John, wow, lots of people coming in and tons of people smashing up the likes. Thanks, everyone. New Mexico, Chicago, Buckeye in the house, Florida in the house. But yeah, let's get back on the subject of what's going on here. So we're going to go really quickly. I'm going to answer some questions at the end, but I'm going to read some of the comments as well. But getting back on the subject, the first thing is the social dysfunction I see in society. Literally, so many people, if you even just look at your Facebook, there's so much gossip. People are caught up in what everyone else is doing, whether it's a celebrity, whether it's the politics. Like every day I open up X, every day I open up my Facebook, they're talking about someone needs to go to prison for life, someone needs to get arrested for life. Like it's like they want their favorite former hero to get locked up and thrown away. They want the president to, have some bad. It's just crazy to see all of this just social dysfunction. I don't ever remember it being this bad. I knew it was like dysfunctional. There was always a little bit of toxicity, but nowadays, like people don't even like socialize with their friends or family. I would say like most people in their 30s, they don't even know who their friends are anymore. When was the last time they socialized? Obviously, people still socialize, and the people who do, that's great. But you can see the trend is seeming to go in the direction of more and more like into the metaverse, into virtual reality, like not into human interactions. It seems like, especially in the United States, and Arizona is, I'm seeing this in Arizona, like where people, it's bad enough that everything's so spread out and you have to use a car to get everywhere and it's not walkable and you can't like walk out of your house and go to the local pub or go to the local restaurant. You have to like get in your car. And if you get in your car, if you have a couple drinks, you could get pulled over. But just the social dysfunction, it seems like everywhere. And everyone's so like, I don't know. I know I use the term everyone and it's so cliche, but I'm not even kidding. Like if I open up X right now, I feel like there's just everything I'm going to see on there. It's like the algorithm just wants me to see like anger and hatred. Everyone, like what happened to like cute dogs and beautiful travel destinations, right? Like why do I only see all of this, the attacks, all of the attacks? It's everyone attacking. Maybe that's what the algorithm wants me to see. That's what it could be. But either way, it's changing. And I feel like that's the change that's happening. Less human interaction, more like going into the virtual space, more going into the internet and living like shelter in space, don't socialize with people. What do you guys think? Do you guys see that going on, or do you think I'm just like, Chicken Little over here, the sky is falling? But let's talk about how the whole job market, this is the thing that I don't understand how it's going to happen. Like Gates, he was on an interview. He said in the next 5 years, so many jobs are going to be taken by AI. We just talked about that earlier in the video about how Waymo, you get in one of these driverless cars, it's literally like a robot. It's got a spinning little like radar, LiDAR thing on the top, and it's like a robot. It's like something in the Jetsons. The only thing that's coming next is like, are they going to hover? Are they going to take off and hover and then fly like the Jetsons? And it's not going to be a pilot. I don't know. And I could see how this is going to work because personally, I prefer taking Waymo and I feel bad about it because I'm like, that's going to take jobs away from like the gig economy, the people who drive for Uber, the people who drive for DoorDash. But I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. Waymo's like cheaper. It's 30% cheaper. And in all honesty, it's more comfortable. The car smells better. It might not smell like must or the green plant. It's like really clean. And it's cozy in there, more cozy than an Uber. And I don't know, it's hard to really say that I wouldn't want to take Waymo over, and also the human error. It eliminates human error. People think like it's more dangerous because there's not a human there, but think about it. Would you rather, what's safer, autopilot or a pilot? Most of you would probably agree that if you're going on a 14 to 16-hour flight over the Pacific, you'd rather have autopilot flying that plane. Well, that's kind of the same idea, autopilot for cars. It's like eliminate human error because of substance abuse, all this stuff. So, I mean, that's just one area we're seeing it in transportation, but AI is coming into like you could probably get better information from an AI powered medical advisor than you could for a doctor. So many of you are always complaining about misdiagnosis and everything, but think about it. An AI library where you put in your symptoms, they're going to have more information and more to pull from just instantaneous, like a calculator would be able to give you a math equation faster than a human most of the time. And the reason is because they're going to have a collection of information based on your symptoms where they're going to be able to dial in your health better than a doctor's brain in some cases. Now, this is projections. Do we know that this is going to happen? We don't know exactly, but we're seeing how this can possibly be better. Also, with legal, with accounting, how AI could just completely wipe out those three, the need for lawyers. What are you going to do with all these educated lawyers? Where are they going to get a job? What are you going to do with all these doctors? Um, the transportation, like trucking, like they're talking about just automating the whole thing. You even have the conversation about Phoenix and Tucson becoming smart cities. I mean, this stuff is happening and it's happening faster than you guys realize. And it could happen even faster. I mean, you open up your phone, it identifies your face based on biometrics, facial recognition. Okay. There's predictive, it's like predictive stuff. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know. It's scary. It is scary because it's a whole new realm. It's like we don't even know what this stuff is going to do. We don't, it's like none of us have any idea. And I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like it. I mean, I got to be honest with you, but it's happening. It's like no one. I don't think any of you guys really asked for any of this stuff, and it's just kind of happening. And that's what I'm saying. Like, do you guys realize it's happening? Like, we hate getting on phone calls and having to press one and then having to talk to an automated operator. Like the first thing I want to do is hit zero. I hit zero so many times because I'm like, I want to talk to a real person. But that's not what those companies want. That's not what the banks want. They want us to talk to an AI. They want us to talk to an automated voice. That's what they want. But I mean, this is the stuff that's happening. Another thing that is happening aside from all the technology takeovers, the conversation about climate change. Let me be very clear on this. Okay. Climate has changed all throughout history. In order to go into an ice age, you have to have cooling. You have to have global cooling. In order to come out of an ice age, in order for the ice to melt at scale, you have to warm. So we do know that the Earth climate changes over time. The argument could be made, is it man-made? I'm not even calling it man-made climate change. I'm just calling it climate change. And one of the areas where we're seeing climate change in Arizona right now, okay, we're seeing it. People talk about drought, but this is a conversation that you have to really pay attention to if you're living in Arizona, because things could change where water shortages, water scarcity could become even more of a big thing where all these people with green grasses and gardens and everything might have to go to hardscape. So you have to take into consideration what we're seeing with the climate change. Whether you think it's man-made or not, that's not even the conversation. But we do know that climate changes. We do know that we've seen less monsoon activity than we saw in the 90s, right? We do know that we're seeing less rain, more drought, more people coming in. That's a recipe for what? Shortage, scarcity. So pay attention to that. But going beyond that, even look at how the job market is evolving. Like what's going to happen to people like my dad and my mom who work in these jobs, and they don't even have any, like my dad doesn't even know how to use his iPad. Like I'm like, Dad, open up the app store. What? How do you do that? Push the magnifying glass. He doesn't even know this. It frustrates me because I'm trying to tell him from miles away over the phone, and he doesn't even know how to do it. He doesn't know his passwords and all this stuff. And I'm just like, I don't see how people in his situation are prepared for what's coming with the technology innovation. I mean, yeah, they're getting older and they're getting retired, and it might not impact them. But what about the people in between? Are they ready for? Are they going to be ready to like re-educate? Because that's what's going to end up happening. The jobs are going to go to the tech people, the people with the tech minds. If you've got kids right now, you had better be preparing them for tech, like computer science, understanding AI. They should be using all forms of technology. And you could be like, well, I'm holding out. I don't believe in the future. I don't believe in any of this stuff. Smash up the likes, by the way. We got 41. I'm going to read some comments here. People are already coming in. Someone says, biometrics are so good that when came back from LA, the customs guy didn't even look at my passport. That's scary. Yeah, that is scary. I mean, that is crazy. Phoenix is going to be larger soon, fourth largest metro. Which one would it pass it for? Dallas? I don't think it's going to pass Dallas. Someone said, too much concrete. They don't plant enough trees when they develop. Well, yeah, I mean, but do we have enough water to plant all these trees? I mean, we need drought tolerant trees. This is what we need, right? Someone says, right here we see, well, AI may not wipe out everything because AI is going to need people to support it as well as secure the data. I'm just saying, we've got like 8 or 9 million people on Earth. I don't know what all these people are going to do. I know that people need purpose. Humans need purpose in life. You can't be without purpose. You have to have purpose in life. And without purpose, people are going to be depressed. I mean, they're going to get cabin fever. I would say there's going to be a rise in digital nomads. Like people aren't going to want to just stay in their suburban home in Mesa. Like what happened to me, I was working online. I realized like, no, I'm not just going to stay in Mesa and just, putz around Mesa. It's not, Mesa isn't built for people to live like a digital nomad, to work from home. A lot of the cities in Arizona are not built to work from home. They're built for you. Phoenix is built for you to drive to your job, however far away, and then come home and sleep. But it's not built to like eat, sleep, work, and play in your condo, in your community. It's not built like that. I mean, I don't know how many of you live in apartment complexes in Phoenix, but everyone I've ever met who lives in one of those apartment complexes who had to actually stay there during the lockdowns, they became very stir crazy. They got cabin fever. It was not good. And so I don't really see how this is going to play out. Someone says, I never really need to leave Scottsdale. Someone said, Phoenix is horrible. Someone says, healthcare always wins. Cactuses are trees. Yeah, cactuses are trees. I mean, are cactuses trees? I don't think so. I mean, they're plants. Someone says they can plant more indigenous trees like mesquite. Yeah, mesquite, you could plant more mesquite. One of the things I've noticed with people living in Arizona, and I don't know if this applies to all you, but allergies are like way more prominent than ever. I don't know what's causing the allergies. I mean, every time I see the yellow flowers on the Palo Verdes, I'm like, that's what's causing it. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's all those plants, those like drought tolerant flowers that we grow in our front yards for decoration. If every house having that in those Trek home communities is also creating like a different type of pollen. Someone said that all those plants are all males. So because all the plants are males, because they want flowers, this is, or is it female? I think all the plants are males. So whichever one of the plants that they plant, that's the plant that actually produces the most pollen. And those are what they're planting in most of these communities. Someone says, I like kayaking the lower Salt River. Actually, we do have a video coming out. It is best things to do in Phoenix, Arizona. It's coming in this weekend. You're going to get it this weekend. So it's pretty much all the best things to do in Phoenix, Arizona. The only thing that I left off, and this is like the only thing, and I want you guys to know if you're watching this right now, the Wild Animal Park in Goodyear. That's like the only thing that I left off, and I don't know why I left it off. I forgot it when I published it. But anyway, that's the only thing. By the way, on my other channel, Economic News Insights, I pinned to the top. I'll put it in the comments, also in the description, but it's pinned to the top of this chat here. You guys can go over there and subscribe. We're going to start talking about more of this stuff over on that channel because, as you guys know, big things are happening with the financial system. This is something that a lot of people are not ready for. There appears to be like almost a plan to evolve the economic system. We see this with the Bitcoin, the digital assets. I'm just going to tell you right now, there is a lot of people who have no idea this is happening. And they don't even, they think it's all hocus pocus. But your president, the president of the United States, his sons, the vice president, all just went to a Bitcoin conference yesterday. And people are always saying, oh, even like Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan, he was saying Bitcoin's, like Warren Buffett was even calling Bitcoin a scam, rat poison squared, and all this stuff. Now it's being so officialized by like the US government, the president, everything. BlackRock's in on it. Like BlackRock is the biggest asset manager in the world. The Saudis just bought Bitcoin. Pakistan just made it the official like strategic reserve. I mean, countries all around the world. We're talking about Pakistan just yesterday did it, but the US already did it. China did it. I mean, so there's like this de-dollarization, and they want to go to like this decentralized currency, and it appears like it's going to be Bitcoin. And people are like jumping in. They say there's going to be like a short squeeze to the top. Like there's going to be like an omni candle where Bitcoin is just going to moon. Like it's going to go up so fast. Right now it's like at 106,000, but it was just at 111,000. I remember when Bitcoin was $600 and I thought it was high. So I don't know where it's going, but this is the kind of stuff we talk about on Economic News Insights. We give people the most relevant and new realistic information that you guys need, because a lot of people are going to get left behind because they're going to be stuck in dollars and with hyperinflation. What have we already seen? We've seen inflation. And what happens during inflation? That means your $20 has less purchasing power than it had in 2020. Your $20 has less purchasing power than it had in 2000. All over time. If you ask your grandpa how much his rent was back in Scottsdale back in 1980, he'll tell you it was around like $200 or $300. Okay, what is your rent in Scottsdale right now? Like at least 2,300 to 2,500. Most cases 3,000. So inflation. So you need to get into assets that have store of value. It stores your value. You're not losing value. The old way was savings, like save your money, save your money. Well, now it's invest your money. And if you guys are not taking the steps to invest your money, is there anyone even in this chat who needs help with investment? I would say either subscribe to Economic News Insights, my channel, or start watching more YouTube videos about how to invest. Because if you're not taking the steps on how to invest your money, with especially the way that the tone of everything with the bond market, the CPI, the money printing, all of this stuff, it's like you guys are not prepared for retirement at all. It's crazy. Like a lot of people are not ready for it. Kevin says, I'm not sure Bitcoin is, at least not in my lifetime, but maybe a century from now. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, Bruce, if you think it's a century out, your head's not, I don't know you and everything, but your head's not in the game. You're not paying attention to what's going on. I mean, I'm trying to help you here, honestly. Bitcoin's only like 15 years old. And if you think it's a century away from what it's already become, it's the 5th largest asset in the world in 15 years. I think it's crazy. I understand why you would think it would be a century. A lot of people don't realize how fast. That's what the point of this video is. We're in hyperspeed right now, guys. It's a whole new paradigm. Things are moving way faster than they've ever moved. Things used to move like molasses going uphill in Boston in the wintertime. Things are now going like hyperspeed. Things are happening so quickly. You could see it's all around you. Things are changing quickly. Socially, things are changing. Economically, things are changing. The job markets are changing. The world around us is changing. It would be like someone seeing the internet in 1992 and saying, there's no way that more people will be spending time on the internet than actually in the physical real world. That was just 30 years ago. We probably started spending more time in cyberspace within 20 years. That happened in 20 years. So, I mean, the thing with Bitcoin is it's probably happening about the same time frame. I would say if it's 15 years old now, probably look at like 15 more years. Where is it going to be? Where is it going to evolve into? And you know, the technology that we're using for financial technology, which is the fiat currency system, if you don't know it, you can look it up. But in 1971, Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard. Before 1971, the dollar was pegged for every bit of gold you had in the Fort Knox in the reserve, you had a dollar printed. That was the money system. But then they changed from the gold system, the gold currency, the gold standard. They moved to the fiat standard, the fiat currency. Fiat currency is backed by nothing. It's just money printers. It's quantitative easing, which is QE. As they need it, as they need money, they print it. They can just, it's man-made. It's a total man-made system backed by nothing. So you'd be surprised, my friends. You'd be surprised. And this is what I'm trying. This is why we're putting the information out there, is because a lot of people don't even realize this stuff is happening, and it's happening so quickly. They call people crazy if they start talking about it. But literally, if you don't believe me, look at how much Trump bought. Trump himself bought $2 billion worth of Bitcoin like 3 days ago. Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, owns Bitcoin. The Saudis, like the Saudi royal family, is the wealthiest family in the world that we know about. They own Bitcoin. They just bought Bitcoin. So, I mean, it's kind of like follow the money. Follow the money. Isn't that a thing? So pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on. What backs Bitcoin? Nothing backs Bitcoin. Bitcoin backs itself. It's scarcity. Scarcity is so the way that currency works, the way that money works, is based on network effect. However many people, so the reason the dollar has money, why does the dollar have value? Because you're told it has value. So people believe in it. The government tells you to believe in it. So you believe in the dollar. But the dollar is nothing more than a piece of paper. Currency, paper money. Here's a Thai currency right here. What is it? I mean, this thing could have value or it could have no value. You ever just had money in your pocket and just be like, this thing has a lot of power. This $100 bill has a lot of power. This little credit card, there is actually no, what gives this credit card power? Your credit card could have a lot of power depending on how many zeros you have in your bank account, but there's nothing, it's digital money. It's digital money. The same thing as Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just a more evolved digital money with scarcity built in. See, one of the things that's happening, one of the reasons they had to move away from gold was because it was inefficient. It was just inefficient. So you have to pay attention to a lot of this stuff happening. We're living in a technocracy. Look at the top companies in the world. I think Saudi Aramco is the #1 market cap. But beyond Saudi Aramco, look at the Magnificent Seven, the companies that we call the Mag 7 on the stock exchange. NVIDIA, they make AI computer chips. That's the most valuable company in America right now, $3 trillion market cap, right? So they make AI computer chips, they do AI, and they do data analytics. #2, Meta, or Apple. Apple is all about the hardware that you use for your technology, right? Google, Meta, what are the other ones? Amazon. All of those are related to the internet. Microsoft. So, I mean, you'd be surprised how many people haven't connected those dots. And right now, some people, I believe, are possibly connecting the dots. And I'm happy to be helping you guys see what's happening, because this is what you need to be seeing, is that all the value is on the cyberspace. Don't ask me why. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what we see. The facts are it's not like it's like, you know, John Deere or something that's the most valuable company. Like, how come Tesla is worth so much more in terms of market cap than Ford and General Motors? I see more General Motors, I see more Ford cars on the roads. But if you look at the Tesla market cap compared to a Ford market cap or a Chevy, like GM, General Motors market cap, it's incredible. It's so much different. It's bizarre. Um, Vera Coca says the dollar is backed by confidence in the dollar, nothing else. That's what the dollar is backed in. As long as people just, well, it's stability. There's a lot of things that fiscal policy that go along with making it like whoever has the strongest network effect. Like there's so many social media platforms that have been built, but why is it that Meta and Facebook are the ones that dominate, right? Well, because of network effect. There's also many different like YouTube competitors, but everyone just uses YouTube. So it's network effect. It's how many signups, how many users use this stuff. Same thing with currency. So like BRICS currency, there's this one of the things they're trying to do is like get away from the dollar. And the people who run the dollar are kind of like, well, we got something else. It's called digital currency called Bitcoin. It's just crazy. Like I know that it's crazy that I'm telling you this stuff and people are thinking probably that's BS, but I'm just saying it's like it's happening. You can literally research it yourself. And that's what I would encourage you all to do. DYOR, do your own research. Subscribe to my channel if you guys want to get information. If you guys like this information, subscribe to this channel, but also subscribe to Economic News Insights, where we're going to talk about a lot more financial stuff that's really important for all of us. As I do the research, I share it with you. As I learn from some of you guys also, I'll read the comments and I'll get information from you guys. We're like a community. That's really what we are. Someone said pennies are going away next year. Oh, geez. Coins, they just need to do away with all coins completely. It's a totally irrelevant technology. That's a financial technology that's like back to the Roman era. Like we're done with coins. Coinage is done. Coinage is done. Paper money's next. Paper money is about to be phased out. They want to get away from paper money. I mean, I'm just saying, like, yeah, it used to have value, but it doesn't anymore. The only coins that you probably want to hold on to are real silver and gold medallions. Like, that's good currency. That, like, Florida just recently said that gold and silver are considered currency now. Did you see that? That was good. So that tells you that like the old tech is kind of making a comeback, because that was one of the things that Bitcoin used to say is, when was the last time an old technology replaced the technology that replaced it? Never, right? Well, gold hasn't gone away. It's been around for 5,000 years, so it stands the sands of time. I would say long term, even beyond Bitcoin, gold could be longer term, but that would be that century thing, right? Like in a century, Bitcoin could fade, could get hacked, something could happen, but guess what will still be there? Gold and silver. My dad loves buying silver, by the way, and he doesn't know much about money, but he's not like a big money guy. He's not like a banker or anything, but he's like, I just bought more silver. He loves buying silver. He thinks it's undervalued. I'm like, okay, it's okay, I'll FOMO into silver because my dad's got me FOMOing into silver. But yeah, we'll see what happens, right? Someone says my point wasn't the value, it's the confidence. Yeah, it's the confidence. Mike says Florida now accepts gold as currency. Vintage says good, I have silver so far. Yeah, I mean, silver's price is around what's the price of silver right now? Let me see what the price. I think it was like 32 or 33. What is the price of silver right now? Let's see. So, I mean, you could get some silver coins. I don't know how you would get silver coins. This isn't financial advice, but it seems like silver gold is like around like 32, 3,300, right? So per ounce is $33. It must have gone up. It's increased. Oh, it has increased 1%. 1% increase over one day is actually quite a bit for a precious metal. What is the market cap? What is the market cap for silver? Let's see. If you see, this is the stuff we teach over on Economic News Insights, is like terms like what is market cap. Some of you guys are like, what is market cap? I don't understand. What do I need to know about market capitalization? I mean, that's something that we can explain in a whole video. So once you guys know what market cap is, you'll be looking at things a whole lot different once you understand what a market capitalization is. This is why financial literacy, financial education is so important. And I realize there's a lot of people who are older, Gen Z, boomers, even boomers don't have financial literacy. They're just kind of going through it, and it's not by any fault of their own. It's just there were never any classes taught on it or anything. Like I had to learn it. But market cap for silver is 56 billion. Is it 56 billion? No, it's 1.3 trillion. Okay. Okay, gold market cap is 15 trillion. So what that basically tells us is that gold is 15 times less value or more valuable than silver. So silver is 15 times less valuable than gold. Right now, Bitcoin's market cap is around, is that 1.6 trillion. So Bitcoin is more valuable right now as an asset class than silver. Apple, the stock, has a $2.5 trillion market cap right now. So Nvidia's at 3 trillion. So yeah, that gives you an idea kind of what the valuations are on these assets. So you can make decisions on what you guys are looking to do. So Bob says, just tuned in. Why is life in AZ about to change? Okay, so we just talked about it. I'll give you a summary if you're just tuning in. Smash up the likes. So basically, we're talking about how the society is being like demented. Like people are being driven crazy by social media, by the news and everything that they're seeing. Like things are basically driving, people are being driven nuts. This is why mental health issues are going through the roof, because the way that it's engineered is like people are being told to stay home, disconnect from their families, look at the screens more. Like if the average person looks at their screen at least 5 to 8 hours a day, that's the average person. Some people are looking at screens for at least 10 hours a day. Your iPhone probably told you how much screen time you had. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of you have 10 plus hours of screen time daily. Okay. But what I'm saying is, what is that doing to your human psyche? What is that doing to your human connections? Over time, you're being conditioned to grow apart from people and stay at home. Like this is where everything is going, is like to be more at home. And it's going to get to a point where some people are going to be so fed up, they're going to end up like me and they're going to travel. They're just going to be like, I don't want to stay in my cabin. I don't want to get cabin fever any longer. I want to get outside and explore. So more and more people are going to be put in this position where they're stir crazy. They want to travel. I'm not saying everybody, okay? There's going to be some people, but then there's going to be people who are going to want to go out into the woods, like, go up into the White Mountains, go live out there. But the other thing is how the job displacement with AI and technology is coming quick. Like this is something that's happening so freaking quick. Like, people don't even realize how fast technology is about to boom. And you're hearing it everywhere. Ray Dalio says like we're in a hyper phase right now. Because there's hyper is different than like expansionary or growth. When something is in a hyper speed, that means it's moving at a faster speed. So right now in the next 5 years, AI and other technologies are about to hyper speed into our lives. Whether you asked for it or not, it's happening. I'm not saying I asked for it either. I'm kind of concerned. I'm like, we're all like, even as YouTubers, like there's so many people making AI driven content. Like you guys might not even want to watch an actual person. You'd rather just watch an AI or listen to an AI. Most of you probably listen to AI videos and don't even realize that's an AI voice with AI footage. I mean, think about it. I don't know how many of you are actually using Chat GPT right now. How many of you use Chat GPT on a daily? I use it all the time, and I use it because it's more efficient. Like the AI is just more efficient. It's like using a calculator or doing math. Do you write a math equation on a piece of paper or do you use a calculator? Okay. Do you go to a library or do you use Google? Do you use Google or do you use ChatGPT? ChatGPT is way more efficient. It's like, do you have real friends in real life or do you have friends on Facebook? People are replacing their friends by their Facebook. This is your friend. This is your new friend. Most people don't even realize their phone is their friend. Like you have 300 friends on your Facebook. And when was the last time you saw any of them face to face or in person? How many of you even want to see those people face to face? I would say that I probably want to see people face to face that I haven't seen that are not friends on my Facebook, because the things I see of them on Facebook and social media, I'm like, I already feel like I got enough of that person because I see their posts every day. Whereas someone I haven't seen since high school, literally haven't seen, I would like to see that person. You get what I'm saying? So like the phone is like our friend, and we think we have these virtual through these virtual relationships. We think we have relationships, and maybe in some cases we do, but this is going hyperspeed now. It's like people are going into like virtual reality. They call it the metaverse. They're talking about like people will be doing meetings around a table in the metaverse with goggles or lenses and glasses on, and they're like trying to sell us on this. Like I said, I'm not trying to sign up for that. I'm just saying it's happening. And my best advice that I could give to anyone about moving forward and that I'm following for myself, I'm going to be very flexible with how things are evolving. I'm not going to be attached to anything. I'm not trying to put roots in the ground or anything. I'm just being very flexible. I'm putting investment over here, investment over here. I'm just kind of standing on standby. I'm investing in Bitcoin. I'm investing in precious metals. I'm holding US dollars. I'm just kind of like, whoa. I'm just balanced. It's a balancing act at this point, and I've told myself I need to be flexible because things are moving very quickly. So I'm not getting attached to anything because I don't want to be emotionally attached to anything, because if it's taken away from me, then that's more chaotic. It's a way to manage the situation. But when you're being told that we're entering into a hyper phase, we saw what's happening with the climate change, where people, we talked about climate change. If you're just tuning in here, I want to clear up. We're not saying necessarily man-made climate change. We're saying the climate changes. We saw it when we went into an ice age. Obviously, the earth cooled in order for the ice to collect. And then we melted the ice 100 years later as the ice age ended. We went into a mini ice age. Right now, they were saying global warming. What ended up happening? Antarctica just grew ice. So they don't call it global warming anymore. They call it climate change. But what we're saying is climate change is happening at a larger scale. More humans on Earth. All this stuff is happening. More pollution in the water. I mean, most people have microplastics and heavy metals in their body. If you look at the number one way that you get microplastics in your body, it's from water, plastic water, from using plastic products in the microwave. You're heating, you're using a Tupperware, it's like all these people got microplastics in their body, and doctors are saying like this is the number one thing causing neurotoxicity. The second thing causing neurotoxicity is heavy metals. These are things that are coming from your environment, so from the air you breathe, from the products you use, all this stuff. So a lot of this stuff is being introduced, but then we're finding out about it. So there's a lot of stuff that you have to pay attention to. I mean, someone said ChatGPT lies about some historical events. Of course, yeah. I mean, it's their version of what they're pulling the data from, right? So I mean, and as you become more and more dependent on it, it's like it can lie more, right? So these are the things that we're seeing happening, and you have to be aware of it. So you have to be very flexible in your mind. You have to be an independent thinker. You have to learn from other people. You have to do group think, but you can't get attached to things. Right now, I would say removing emotions from scenarios and situations is probably the best bet. The more emotional and emotionally tugged and emotionally attached you are to things, the more you're going to be easily manipulated. This is like identity politics 101. I went to school for political science. One of the things they talk about in there is identity politics. So it's social engineering. So if they can get you emotionally attached to something, your identity, your culture, all this stuff, they can manipulate you based on just that. Your gender, really, it's serious. Pay attention to stuff. Someone said, Janice says, Jeff, what sources do you use to get your news? Okay, so the way that I approach this, and this is just my approach right now, is I look at two sides of the story. You might have the conspiracy and then you might have the actual news. I would say that it's kind of like what the official story is and what the conspiracy is, somewhere in between, right? It's like you're not getting the full story from the news, you're not getting the full accuracy from the conspiracy theory, but somewhere in between is probably more likely to be the truth. So I'm going to multiple sources, and it's an aggregate. It's more of an aggregated, like I'll look at and see what the left is saying. I'll look and see what the right is saying, and I'll try to find out what's in between, right? Because I'm more about, instead of trying to identify left or right at this point, I would rather be center of the row. So I was even having this conversation on Economic News Insights, where I was saying that I am center of the row, and I do tend to lean a little bit right fiscally. Okay, so I'm fiscally conservative, but I have some liberal left-leaning views. Like one of the things I'm left-leaning on is I believe that in this day and age, if you wanted to leave the country and travel, that's okay. Like more of a conservative view, more of a protectionary view would be like, I'm going to stay hunkered down in my hometown and I'm not going to leave. That's a very conservative value. Whereas me, I'm kind of like, well, I got to be flexible here. And that's what liberalism is. That's what being liberal is means you're more open minded, right? It's progressive thinking. But am I progressive in a lot of things? No, there's a lot of things that I'm very conservative in. So, but I would say that I'm more center of the row right now because I'm trying to manage the situation. So I want to be more balanced. I don't want to be like attached to one way or the other. And I would say I'm just calling myself common sense conservative. So in some areas I will go left. In some areas I will lean right. So like anytime, and that could be just the youth in me. I'm 42 years old. I'm still trying to find out what I want to get really hunkered down and attached to. But the thing is, I can't sign up with any of the radical stuff. So you won't see me on the far right. You won't see me on the far left. I'm choosing to be in the middle. And like I said, I'm fiscally conservative, and in some areas, I like Bitcoin, for example. That would be me being open-minded to a new currency coming about, me being open-minded to using AI instead of being like, I'm not going to sign up for anything AI because I'm going to be the person who's going to be the resistance. Well, it's like one thing we know about the people who are in the resistance, those are the people who are going to be a day late and a dollar short. And I'm like, well, I've seen that happen before with the internet. I saw that happen with other things in the past. And I don't want to be a day late and a dollar short. I'd rather be waiting for the bus than chasing the bus. So this is like the principles that I'm following for like how I'm conducting myself. So when you ask me how I'm getting news, I get news from multiple different sources. I want to see what China's saying. I want to see what the US is saying. And then I want to see what Al Jazeera is saying. You know what I'm saying? Even though they're all kind of like some of them are run by the same people, so you also have to be aware of that. So you have to take the mask off some of that stuff, and you have to do deep dives into stuff, and you have to really pay attention. You have to go beyond. But like I have friends that are like so radicalized into conspiracies and like all this stuff, and I'm just like, dude, that's not going to help you. You're like too radical. You're too far. You're too far into conspiracy. You're too far into the sky is falling. And then I see people who are too caught up into like what Fox News and CNN are telling them. I'm like, you're way too caught up in that. That's the matrix. You're too caught up in the matrix. So you got the people who think they're outside the matrix and the people who are in the matrix. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be somewhere in between. You get what I'm saying? Um, Someone says, I'm more like Texas conservative values with modern tech benefits. There you go. Yeah, this is kind of how I'm approaching. I'm more like Arizona conservative with modern understanding. Like I'm trying to stay relevant. I have to. I'm 42. I'm 42. Like I mean, if I was 85, I know 80. I know an 78-year-old who's still looking to get in on board with new technology and trying to stay active and stay up to things, even though like this world is totally foreign to a 78-year-old. But he's just got the mentality that like you don't want to get left out. And then I know people who are 60 years old that won't change for nothing. You can't tell them nothing. They won't do anything related to technology. And I think that's great. I actually admire them because I'm like, that is great. You don't use cell phones. You don't look at the news. That is great. You live in the woods. You must be very peaceful. All you got to worry about is like, do you got enough water in the well? Do you got enough deer meat in the storage? Do you got enough? I don't know. Fresh vegetables going to grow this year. I mean, those are the real worries, right? That you'd wish you had, which were the old worries that everyone was trying to get rid of, right? Someone says our enemies want us depressed, addicted, and alone. So again, when someone says something like that, I think like that could be true, but I also say we could also listen to who those people are that are saying that. And I say it's probably somewhere in the middle. So do they necessarily want us all completely like depressed and angry and sad and all this stuff? I wouldn't say it's that extreme. I would say there could be an element of that though. I wouldn't take that off the table. But do I think it's that extreme? No. And I only take that approach because I'm trying to be more realistic and more rational, right? Vince says, well, I turned 50 and I'm freaking out. Hey, I hear you. I'm 42. I'm kind of like, what is the next 5 years going to look like? And how do I prepare? That's what I'm really trying to dial in. Like, most of it is like trying to get my investment strategy right. This is why I've hyper focused on financial management. I mean, you got to be like playing your cards with that. How you're going to make money, how you're going to save money, because right now we know that saving money in the bank in cash is not lucrative. We've seen what the devaluation of hyperinflation or what inflation has done to your cash savings. So you've either got an IRA, you've got a 401k, you've got gold and silver, you've got Bitcoin, you've got stocks. I don't know what you're doing, but if you're just holding in cash right now, you're losing your value. And we know that's for sure, right? Thank you to everyone who smashed up the likes. The benefit of Bitcoin, and I'll tell you, I talk about it over on Economic News Insights. I pinned that channel link to the top of this. You guys can go over there and subscribe if you want this information, but I'll tell you a little bit right now. The benefit of Bitcoin, the reason that Bitcoin is becoming more popular is because number one, it's a financial technology. People like technological advancements, especially banks. It's a fintech. That's what fintech stands for, financial technology. Bitcoin is a fintech. So people like it. Younger people like it more than gold and silver. So the future doesn't belong to the gold and silver bugs right now, because the future, the momentum with the youth is with the digital currency, the Bitcoin, right? So there's that. Then you look at politically, where is it going? Who's buying? We know that BlackRock and Larry Fink talk about it. We know that Donald Trump just bought $2 billion of Bitcoin like 2 days ago. We know that the vice president bought it. We know that countries own it. China owns Bitcoin. U.S. government owns Bitcoin. The state of Arizona just recently tried to buy Bitcoin. But we have a bit of a radical governor who cut it off. But Wyoming, if you guys know Cynthia Loomis, she is from Wyoming. That's a good state, by the way. Wyoming, if you need to open a business, consider Wyoming. I actually would, if I was to go back to the US and I was to move out of Arizona, I would probably aim towards Wyoming right now. Wyoming's got a lot of the forward thinking, and it's like kind of like it's in position to be a real winner. Wyoming. King Win says Bitcoin is global too. I mean, yeah, oh yeah, it's very global. The only thing, there are things about Bitcoin. I could make a pros and cons about Bitcoin. Like I don't understand how there's like 7 million coins that are lost forever. So it's like they're supposed to have 21 million, but 7 million are lost forever. I know how they're lost, but I'm like, I don't understand. So that really only means that the currency only has 14 million in circulation, 14 million coins. So it creates more scarcity. But you know, also I don't like the storage of it. I would say if you're someone who's getting into Bitcoin, most people use Coinbase and then they use vaults, digital vaults. But this is stuff that we'll talk about on the other channel. But it's important for people to get, you got to get it in there. I don't care how old you are, if you're 65 or 29, you got to pay attention to what's going on around you. Because if you don't, I'm telling you, you're going to be a day late and a dollar short, and you're going to be one of those people who's kind of like sitting there. You know, the meme where the guy's got all his pockets out of, you know, every pocket's up, and he's got no money. He's kind of like, what happened? Well, you weren't paying attention to what was happening around you, because the world moves without you. The world keeps on going. The big dogs are eating. The big dogs are eating. It's a dog eat dog world, and the big dogs are eating, and they'll eat it all. And so you can complain about the big dogs trying to eat, but that doesn't stop the big dogs from eating. So I'm not saying you got to become a big dog, because the likelihood that any of us will ever be a big dog, and I don't even want to be a big dog, right? Like, I don't even want that kind of attention. I don't want any of that. You can have all that, whoever you are who wants that. But I'm just saying that those are the people who are going to make the money moves. Those are the people who are going to control where everything's going. Thanks to 172 people smashing up the likes. Smash up the likes if you want me to keep going, or not. I will jam out. It's been 48 minutes of lots of conversation, productive with you guys in the audience. Robert says Charles Hoskinson, ADA founder, lives there. Oh, Charles Hoskinson. Yeah, he does live in, I thought he lives in Colorado. He says something like always cold and always Colorado or something like that. I didn't know if he lived in Wyoming. I thought he lived in Colorado. Someone says keep on keeping on. Smash up the likes. We're at 177. I'll keep going. Robert says 21 million total ever in world, even after quantum resistance updates. Well, I mean, that's another thing that's a downside with Bitcoin, right? Is that the possibility that it could get hacked by quantum computing. Like quantum computing is another thing that's coming in really quickly. If you don't know what quantum computers are, they're basically like computers that process things way faster than ever before. Like, do you think your iPhone's fast at processing? That's like so small. That's like it's totally ridiculous. The funny thing about how they roll out the technologies is they always roll out with a hiccup. Like, remember 4G to 5G when that happened like 4 or 5 years ago? Like, don't you feel a little bit different, maybe a little bit more fuzzy headed? I know I feel a little bit more fuzzy headed ever since that, ever since like 3G, ever since whatever it was that they did when they went from 3G to 4G, that changed a lot of things. Whenever they went from like the BlackBerry to like LED screens, just the way my eyes feel looking at those screens is a lot different than like high definition 4K is a lot more straining on my eyes than it is to look at things that are like 1080. Someone says, it's one thing to be over under informed. The sin will be uninformed altogether. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to be willing to start learning about what's to come. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, sometimes ignorance is bliss though, too, right? Like I was saying, like somebody who's just totally out of the loop and doesn't pay attention to anything probably has more peace than anyone. Like a monk in Bhutan, in Nepal, that has no idea any of that's going on. They're just tending to their sheep herd, like those people in Afghanistan that live in the Hindu Kush, they probably have no idea of any of this stuff. And they're probably just like daily life. Like just imagine the 65-year-old man who just like herds his sheep in Afghanistan, how peaceful he is being disconnected from Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and doesn't know any of that and doesn't care to know any of that, doesn't want to know any of that. His concerns are about like, is it going to rain tonight? Is it going to snow tonight? And there are people like that. I think most of the world is still unbanked and still like without the internet. But yes, the people who control the world, they want to get everyone under the umbrella. They want to get you all kind of like caught up on the modern system because that's how they control things. That's called social engineering. It is what it is, right? I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm not even saying that I asked for any of it. All I'm doing is saying that I just want to pay attention. I want to know what's going on. I want to be like very even keeled. I don't want to be I want to be very just unemotional about it as possible. Because the second I start getting emotional about it, the second my heart rate starts going up and blood pressure and all this stuff, and I'm like, dude, I gotta like really chill with this stuff. Someone said quantum computing will destroy Bitcoin for sure. Yeah, see, so I mean, it's like Bitcoin might be now. So someone said Bitcoin in this next century. I'm like, I don't even know if Bitcoin's going to be around in the next century, but I know that Bitcoin's happening now. Like Bitcoin is coming right now. It's like basically like really happening. Like it's happening now. We're there. It's happening. Um, it's what someone said, social engineering. Yeah, I mean, that's think about it. If you run the government, of course you're going to want to engineer society. I mean, Germans, what do Germans do, right? You go to Germany, every uni student I ever met from Germany when I was backpacking in Germany in like the early days, I was like, what are you going to school for? Engineering. They're either in the school for engineering for, I don't know, automobiles, for Schumacher European, or, or for airplanes, or they also have engineers for society. That's why, like in Europe, they're always all about the data, the statistics. They're always engineering their society based on numbers. Everything's a number. What's your opinion on Idaho or Montana? Well, Idaho and Montana, just from a raw nature perspective, is very nice. But as far as like government goes and like policies and all that stuff, I would take Wyoming over that. Just so it's like, where's the forward thinking government? Where's the forward thinking governance? Where's like the leadership that you align with? So I don't really know much about Montana politics or Idaho politics or the leadership over there, but I do know that Wyoming has leadership that is going in the direction, doing things, talking about things that I'm more aligned with. And the funny thing is, the highest rent zip code in the entire country is Jackson Hole, Wyoming. You would think it's Santa Barbara. You would think it's Long Island, New York. No, if you look it up, the highest per capita income in the entire country is Jackson Hole, Wyoming. So that probably explains why they're fast forward like that. I mean, sometimes it could be that you want to be in a place that's more chilled, that's not as active. Not everyone has to be the leader. Not everyone has to be the boss, right? So just because Idaho is kind of going incognito and kind of staying out of the firing lanes, that could be good. It's kind of like why you would want to live in New Zealand. Like people want to live in New Zealand. Why do they want to live in New Zealand? In a doomsday scenario, in a World War III scenario, what would be the benefit of living in New Zealand? Anyone care to answer? I'll give you 10 seconds and then I'll tell you. But yeah, so why would you want to live in New Zealand for doomsday? Why do people go to New Zealand? Billionaires go to New Zealand to build doomsday bunkers. Well, I'll tell you, if you look at a globe, you look at a map, whatever you're into, flat Earth or round Earth. I mean, I'm not going to get into that, but I know some of you guys are into flat. But the reason that people go to New Zealand to build doomsday bunkers is because they consider it out of the firing lanes. It's tucked away, way down south. It's just an island. It's not really a threat to anyone. It's kind of like Switzerland. It's kind of like neutral. Like no one's going to go out of their way to put all their energy to go invade New Zealand. It's too small. It's too far away. It's strategically not even relevant. So like everything in between the Pacific, like Hawaii. I remember when I was living in Hawaii in 2000 and what 17 or 2018, they had like a missile strike. I don't know if you guys ever remember that, but it was like we woke up. It was my birthday, January, and the missile strike. It said the phone just started going off inbound. We have missiles projected to hit Hawaii in 30 minutes. It was like missile strike inbound, take cover. And I remember I was living with my friend Ben at the time. And I was like, dude, are you serious? Missile strike? I was like, turn on the TV. I was like, dude, it's got to be North Korea. Like literally for 30 minutes of our life, we were being told that inbound missiles were coming. I'm not even kidding. Someone pushed a button, I guess at CENTCOM or some strategic command, and they pushed the button that activated that. So, but I'm telling you, for 30 minutes, we didn't know that it was an error or a mistake. We were literally thinking like, dude, inbound missiles are set to arrive in Hawaii. this it was crazy. Someone said the downside of island isolation. Yeah, but you could see why Hawaii would be like not a good place to have a doomsday bunker because number one, what happened when World War II kicked off in the Pacific Amphitheater with Japan? Where did they go? Pearl Harbor. So Hawaii is like, Hawaii, Guam, Midway Island, like all of that is like that's like well, at least in the old conventional warfare model, that was where you wanted to go. Like that was your first strike was to cut off that forward advanced position, Guam, Hawaii. But then after that, it's kind of like the World War II philosophy the United States had, which was island hopping. So they were island hopping to get to the mainland invasion. That's why they did Battle of Midway, then Iwo Jima, then they were in the Leyte Gulf, and then they were island hopping towards Okinawa. And then once they took Okinawa, the whole thing was to get closer to the mainland so they could do the invasion and do a land assault. They wanted to do a land assault into Honshu and into Japan. But uh, Harry Truman at the time determined that if we do a land invasion based on what he saw with the Iwo Jima assault, with the Okinawa assault, with what he saw in Coral Sea, that it was just too many American lives were going to be killed in a mainland invasion. So when they had the Manhattan Project broke the news, Oppenheimer said, "We have the bomb." Truman was confronted. Does he do a land invasion of Japan or does he drop the bombs? And he determined, and his staff and his advisors determined that dropping the bombs would bring an end to the war faster than an invasion. And the reason they determined that was because of the adversary that they were up against, which was a kamikaze. Kamikaze were suicide bombers. And so when you had those type of bombers, when you had those types of people, it was more dishonorable to die or to surrender or be held a captive than to die. So they would choose to die in combat, and because that was honor, it was Harry Carey, right? And so that was why they dropped the bombs. But that was what the United States was following, was island hopping to get closer to the mainland for the invasion. But that's kind of what the Japanese were doing in verse in the beginning, was they were going to island hop to cross the Pacific to get forward advanced positions to get closer to the United States so that they could attack the United States. Nowadays, you got like nuclear submarines you can just park off the coast, and if they're undetected, because now they have nuclear submarines that can go undetected and they can have heat seeker or nuclear bombs attached to the warheads. It's crazy. Um, oh, you guys are talking about grays and reptilians now. Okay. Yeah. So, oh, like Troy just said, you and I were thinking the same, Troy, because you said forward positions, nuclear powered submarine capable of total destruction. Yeah, I mean now they can go undetected. I remember when I was in the Navy back in 2005. I was on an aircraft carrier, and I remember the brass, we call them brass khakis. They had a conversation. They said that they were surprised because China was able to emerge a submarine undetected within close range. Emerge. That means come out of the water, because submerges go down, emerges go up. Yeah, I mean the drones. I mean this is all, but it's above my pay grade. I'm not trying to even like it's above my pay grade. All I'm doing is trying to manage the situation. It's kind of like I think in the book of Proverbs it says the wise man takes refuge in the hills, and so it doesn't say the wise man goes into the heat of the battle and just goes down with a blaze of glory. I mean, you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not trying to pretend like I'm some biblical scholar or anything like that. But I do believe it said the wise man takes refuge in the hills or something like that in the book of Proverbs. So I was kind of like, well, all right, there's some advice for you. uh, Packet Watchdog says a wise man into the hills, aka Rocky Mountains in the US. I always said, like, for me, the hills were always like in Arizona, they were always like the Bradshaws, the Bradshaw Mountains. The Bradshaw Mountains, yeah. I would say from Phoenix, it would be the Bradshaws. So I literally went up into Crown King back during like the situation of 2020. I went up into Crown King just researching property up in Crown King because I was like, this is the hills. So what is it? What are you looking for in the hills? I was like, okay, what do they say in Sun Tzu's book, The Art of War and all this stuff? It was like when you want to get a strategic position, you want to find water sources nearby, fresh water sources. You want to have the high ground. You want to have a opportunity to be able to store and grow food and also gather food. So it's kind of like I was like, well, okay, where is that? And I thought like around that area of Crown King, in between Crown King, it's the Senator Highway. So I'm giving some ideas to some of you guys. You can go down there. Sure, some of you could go up into the Rocky Mountains. It's a little bit too cold up there for me. I'm not really trying to get caught into a blizzard in the Rockies. I flew over Denver to Phoenix and I looked down, and this was in May or something, or no, in like it was like outside of peak season. There was still snow on the Rockies. I was like, Rockies are cold. I could only imagine this place in the winter. Someone says, "Yeah, I'm a Capricorn." If you can only live in one state, which would it be? State? Why are we not talking? Why are we limiting ourselves to states? Why are we not looking at the whole world? Right? Like, I was in the whole state thing. I went to Hawaii. So I was like, I need to. So Hawaii at one point in time was where I felt like it was best because of the opportunity to grow an abundance of food, just because of the climate. Because I was trying to grow food in Arizona. I was like, dude, good luck trying to grow food in Arizona. Like, it's a desert for a reason, right? So I was like, Arizona is not very sustainable. There's not a lot of water, and it rains a lot in Hawaii. So Hawaii checked off a lot of lists. Where it failed me was in the fact it was in the firing lanes. It was right in the middle, and I was oblivious to that. I was oblivious to that at first. Um, but yeah, Hawaii was it. Hawaii was it, and then I kind of backtracked off that. I kind of looked at the fertility of like California. California seemed fertile. Um, the best state for like a doomsday prep or like just for normal life. That's that you need. Okay, I'll give both. So if I'm doomsday in it, if I'm doomsday prepping it, I was probably going to go for the Bradshaws. I would say the Bradshaws because it was also easy to bug out to the Bradshaws. Like there's also the Bloody Basin area, which is a little bit lower altitude. Plus the Verde River goes through there. But yeah, Arizona seemed like up in the high country it was decent, but Montana always caught my attention. But you got to, doomsday thing. I don't really like prepping for that. I've done that like two times in my life. During the 2008 financial crisis, I bought a bunch of food and non-perishables, and then all of that I ended up just donating to donating. I bought a bunch of stuff, cans and all this stuff, ammo, and then I donated it all because canned goods only have a shelf life for so long. Also, it's not like they're like going to last you for like 10 years. And then during the 2020 situation I did, and I ended up donating all that. So it's like, man, I guess like ever so often I got to go put couple $100 into it, you know. Um, so I don't really like preparing for the doomsday scenario, but I tried to get a minimalist doomsday bug out scenario situation in my mind. Plus, I was like, I don't know if I really want to live in a situation where we had to bug out like that, like where it was like John Q or whatever it's called. Thanks to everyone smashing up the likes. I'll keep going because we went well over 200 likes. But the other one that came up for just like life in general, if life is hunky dory and life is good, well, I would go towards like the U.S. Virgin Islands. I mean, if you could live out in the U.S. Virgin Islands, it's paradise over there. It's paradise. It's freaking paradise. A little bit dangerous in some areas, but then I was like, as I was in the U.S. Virgin Islands, I was like, okay, this one's getting a little bit too Americanized, which is what I was kind of running away from. So then I was like, well, what other islands are out here? What other islands are out here that are kind of incognito, running under the radar? I found a couple out there. There's a couple out there. If you haven't been to Anguilla, check out Anguilla. Anguilla. I don't know about I don't know about the opportunities for like investment and all that, but Anguilla is the place I would live. Uh and this is where I got into this whole situation of like, well, where else could I live to find serenity? Ecuador was fitting the bill. Ecuador, I could see why people move to Ecuador. Costa Rica is good. Um, you know, I think Asia just became too popular. It's too popular at this point. It's good, but I don't think long term it's going to be sustainable especially for Westerners. So I would say some islands. Find an island that you love, whether it's up in the like Alaska. Like Alaska's got some areas that you could live, like the Kenai Peninsula. Alaska is good. Alaska is good because you got all that fish out there. Seafood. Um, Kurt says, get off social media. It's pure toxicity. There is no doubt about it. Social media is toxic. If you're one of those people watching this video and you are actively being toxic on social media, please make a change. That includes me, right? Like all of us probably need to be less toxic on social media because it's just pure chaos. The amount of gossip that goes on social media, I made a point of just like not gossiping. Like, I don't care what any celebrity's doing. I don't. And I'm not trying to get into he said, she said stuff. Like Brad Pitt, J-Lo, Jennifer Aniston, whoever. Like, don't talk to me about Hollywood, anything. I don't care. All I would say about those people, let them go. Like, just get out. Like, don't talk to me about Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise or whoever, because I really do not care. And as far as politicians go, I don't want to hear it either. Like, I don't. I mean, geez, I ran out of juice for it. I ran out of mental capacity. Like when a celebrity passes away, whether it's John Wayne or Clint Eastwood or whatever, I'm just like, dude, I got enough mourning in me to give to my friends and family. No celebrities. If I didn't know you personally, I probably don't have it. I probably don't have it in me. And I don't see how any of you guys have it in you to like care about someone that you didn't have like an intimate. If you never had a conversation with them, man, I don't really see how you got all this energy to go like give to all that stuff, whether it be gossip or what. Like that whole thing is like the circus. It's like designed to distract you. It's distracting you from your reality. If you're paying attention to celebrity gossip, you are distracted from your own reality. You got too much time on your hands. You need a hobby because there's a never ending supply of celebrity gossip. It's like people who get involved with idolization of anything, it's idolatry. So, no, I don't idolize pro athletes. Like I one time when I was a kid, I used to look forward to meeting all my. I had idols. I had idols, and then I seen Luis Gonzalez at the car wash uh, when he had just won the World Series, and I was like, dude, they say never meet your heroes. And I was like, that was such an uninspiring experience to meet Luis Gonzalez, who had just won the World Series for the Diamondbacks. And I was like, I realized that it was like when I had my first epiphany of like, I don't really like, they're just people just like the rest of us. Like, no one really can like impress. Someone said social media can be passively toxic as well. I always just ignored it. Yeah, like I just deleted Facebook off my phone again. I've got to just probably just delete. That one and X. Both of those are just seriously. There's a never ending supply of things that can like drag you into some sort of distraction from your own existence. Someone said, talk more about Wyoming. Lived in Utah. It was great, but really expensive. Talk of green places of small towns in Arizona in the elevation worth living in. Oh, well, in Wyoming, I mean, if you've never been to Wyoming, there's your summer trip. Go out to Jackson Hole, drive from Jackson Hole, get a rental car in Jackson Hole, go to the Grand Tetons, maybe camp in the Tetons. Watch out for bears because they got grizzlies out there, and that's no joke. Like seriously, if you're going to go hiking, bring some bear spray. If you've ever been into the Yellowstone, same deal. Yellowstone and the Tetons, but Tetons, don't skip the Tetons. Um, Anything to the like east of there is like the plains. It's just flat. Like that's is where the Rocky Mountains begin. That's where you want to explore. If you wanted to go out to Cody or Casper, I've never even been out there. You let me know. Like I've spent like very little time in South Dakota, North Dakota, in the plains of that area. So I don't know much about the plains. It's all just flat, right? I mean, Denver, it's like right where the Rockies start. But as far as green, you said green, small towns that have green. Well, Greer just burned down, or Greer just burned a lot. Check out Show Low. Check out Show Low. Green and Arizona, like that doesn't really go together, but there's a place you can't live out there, but there's a place you could check out that's, I would say, God's country. North Rim, Grand Canyon, Kaibab. They got wild buffaloes out there, all right? Wild buffalo on the north rim of the Grand Canyon. Go there. It's better than the south rim. The south rim is okay, but the north rim, good. The thing is, you can't just like drive across the Grand Canyon from the south rim to the Grand Canyon. You got to go up around Page. You got to go over the Glen Canyon Dam, and then you got to drive past the Vermilion Cliffs, and then you got to drive up the actual Kaibab Plateau. Young, yeah, Young is good. Young is cool. Young is definitely is a little bit green, right? The Mogollon Rim. I mean, if you've never been out on the Mogollon Rim, you could go to Forest Lakes, but go inland, like go off the beaten path, go west from the main road, go west, and just drive on those dirt roads in the Mogollon Rim. That you'd be like, can you camp out? Would you camp out there alone? No. No, man. You look up at the stars. There's so many stars. Oh my goodness. The Mogollon Rim, the Kaibab and the Mogollon Rim have a lot of stars. Lots of stars. And it's just woods, thick, man. Viracocha says, I camp on the rim all the time solo. Oh, nice. Wow. Oro Valley is beautiful by Tucson. Yeah, I mean, if you want to go over towards Oracle, you go to the backside of the Santa Catalinas. That's what I was telling you guys the other video, a couple videos ago. Aravaipa. Go to Aravaipa. They got that Vatican laser out there, or the what's that observation thing where they stare at the stars. It's called Lucifer. That's what the name of the Vatican telescope is on Mount Graham. Have you guys ever been out there? If you don't believe me, you can look it up. That's what it's called. I haven't been up to Mount Graham, but I took what I did with Mount Graham. This is what I did do. I went on Google Maps. I put the little orange guy on the road, and I just sat there late at night drinking my tea or whatever, and just sitting there with the mouse, just driving along Mount Graham like that with the mouse. So um, you could do it. You could do it. That'll give you. Go to Google Earth. Currently, there are no campfires allowed on the rim for the summer. Yeah, that's good. I mean, but yeah, I wouldn't want to camp up there without campfire. That's the thing, man. Some people ruin it for the rest of us, right? Someone said Vatican has nothing to do with Christianity. I don't know who that was directed at, but no, I'm talking about the observation. What's that called? Telescope. Telescope on Mount Graham. It is called. It's a large binocular telescope, the Vatican Advanced Technology Telescope (VATT), and the Heinrich Hertz Submariner Telescope are all located on Mount Graham in southeastern Arizona. These telescopes collectively form the Mount Graham International Observatory. So, I mean, it is called Lucifer's. So, I mean, if you think I was talking about something religious, I'm not talking about anything religious. I'm talking about the large binocular telescope that is on the top of Mount Graham in southeastern Arizona. Go out there and explore. You guys like to get out of the house. You're looking for missions, day trips, things to do. Go to Mount Graham. It's over there by Safford. uh, there's also another one in southern Arizona called Kit Peak. So it's crazy because like on the valley floor is desert, but like when you're looking at those mountains, it's just like in Phoenix. If you're out there in Peoria, you look up towards the Bradshaws, you don't realize there's a whole forest up there. Some of these mountains, even around Phoenix, not South Mountain. Like, when was the last time you saw South Mountain get snow? It doesn't get snow. It's like a big mountain, right? Like South Mountain, you see it coming in from Piatzwa, from Squaw Peak, whatever you want to call it, on the State Route 51. You're coming down into Phoenix, you see the big old South Mountain there. Never gets snow. I've never seen it get snow. I've seen the McDowell Mountains get snow, but not the South Mountain. Someone said, why wouldn't you camp on the rim alone? Animals, serial killers, etc. Just because I'm a big sissy when it comes to like being out in the middle of nowhere with no noise, but just like animals. No, it's okay. So alone, well, yeah, there's bears out there. You know, like I don't know. I'm just a big sissy about that. I I don't know. Maybe at least when I was younger, I was a big sissy about it. I've gotten better about stuff like that, but it's go out to the rim next time you get a chance. Go out to the rim, go off onto the dirt roads, and wait for the sun to fall, and then turn off the car, turn off the lights, and just sit there outside your car in your truck bed, and you tell me. um, so you know, someone says skinwalkers in where in the Grand Canyon. I'd have to look up that. You know, there's a lot of like folklores. Let's ask Chat GPT. I know you guys hate Chat GPT on this chat, but let's see. What are common folklore in Arizona? I'm assuming it's Mogollon Monster, Chupacabra, Skinwalkers, right? Okay, so first one comes up, Lost Dutchman. Supposedly a German prospector, the Lost Dutchman has a massive gold vein in the superstitions. Folklore. Many have died or gone missing searching for the hidden treasure. That's why they call it the Superstition Mountains, because it's considered like a Bermuda Triangle of Arizona. Skinwalkers, Navajo folklore. So it comes from the Navajos. Skinwalkers are powerful witches who can shapeshift into animals. Oh, wow. So I'm not really too familiar with the Skinwalkers until now. So shout out to whoever introduced us to that. So encountering one is considered dangerous or deadly. People avoid talking about them. We'll have to make a full video on this. The next one is the Phoenix bird myth. Tied to the name of the city of Phoenix, symbolizing rebirth and transformation from ashes, civic identity, and modern urban renewal narratives, although not originally indigenous. So I've seen a picture on social media, I've seen it on Google of a giant, huge bird. So if you live in Phoenix, you know there's a road called Thunderbird. There's even Thunderbird High School, right? It's on Thunderbird Road. And so down in Tombstone, they have a picture of like a bunch of like old men with a bird with its wings spread out. And they say that is maybe a thunderbird, like a giant, like pterodactyl type bird. You guys can tell me some more, but so far it's talking about the Lost Dutchman in the Superstition Mountains, thunderbirds. Oh, here now it talks about thunderbirds. Hopi and other southwestern tribes, massive bird-like creatures that cause thunder and lightning when they flap their wings. Some claim to have seen flying beasts over Arizona's deserts and mountains. Dude, I'm telling you guys, man. Now here we are on the Mogollon Monster, Arizona's Bigfoot. Mogollon Rim, north central Arizona, a 7-foot tall ape-like creature covered in dark hair and glowing red eyes, known for its horrific scream and foul odor. Many campers claim to have heard it or seen it. That is probably what's in the back of my mind subconsciously that makes me scared to stay overnight in the Mogollon Rim, the Mogollon Monster. Look it up online. Look it up. Then there's La Llorona, the Weeping Woman, Latino folklore. Smash up the likes if you guys want me to keep going. I'm not kidding. If you haven't liked this video, like the video and I'll keep going. If you're watching, there's more people watching than have liked the video. So that means a lot of people haven't liked the video. Smash the likes. Common in southern Arizona, a ghostly woman who drowned her children and now wanders rivers crying, searching for them. Warning, often told to children to keep them from wandering. Okay. So maybe that one is like a thing to keep children from wandering away. The Apache Death Cave. This is something that I've heard. So you guys know why they call them Apache strongholds, because that was like the last stand for the Apaches before the cavalry was moving them. Location near Two Guns, Arizona. Dude, we need to go to Two Guns and make a video. Who's going out to Two Guns? Oh man, what a name. In the 1870s, a group of Apache warriors were hiding in a cave, was killed by Navajo enemies who set the cave on fire. The area is said to be cursed. Many report paranormal activity around the ruins. Woo. Then there's the vortex energy of Sedona. Sedona is believed to have energy vortexes that enhance meditation, healing, and spiritual experiences. Folklore. Visitors report strange sensations, visions, or emotional shifts in specific red rock locations. Some people have said that they've taken some sort of like plant medicine and they got like premonitions of what it used to look like in Sedona. Like people said that like, because they said that like Monument Valley, Sedona all used to be underwater. It was an ocean and it was like a dolphin birthing caves. Like people have said that they had premonitions that dolphins gave birth in these areas around Sedona. Just telling you, you can look it up. You can look it up. I'm not just making this stuff up. Oh, dude, that's a funny story. Angelo, don't fall. I can't even repeat what he said. Michael says, you're right about all this. Preach. All right. I think every haunted AZ spot needs a video. Dude, that's true. But I would say the priority, I mean, they didn't even mention all of them. Like, I feel like they left the chupacabra off. If you don't know what a chupacabra is, I don't know how you don't know what that is. But they did mention the Mogollon Monster. They did mention the Skinwalkers, and they mentioned the Thunderbird. Thunderbird is a big thing. Also, that conversation about Apaches. This is a thing about what happened with the wars. The Americans coming in and other tribes going to war and like haunted. Like that's a thing. That's a thing. I would say that would not be a video that I'd want to comment too much on. I'd leave it to like the Native Americans to comment on that more than anything. I'm sure if you went online, you could find out about it because there's a couple like tribal elders for the Navajos who have a YouTube channel. Actually, one of them, he made a great video. He was talking about why the Navajos think that turquoise is more valuable than gold. And one of the reasons why he said it, and you can look it up, just look up on YouTube when you get a chance, why is turquoise more valuable than gold according to the Navajos? And he says that in other dimensions, the highest the highest worldly plane is a blue plane. It's a turquoise plane. So they believe that the color blue is more sacred. Well, it's interesting because if you go down south to Guatemala, the Mayans believe the color green is sacred. So, and the reason that they say it's sacred is that's why they have reverence for the color jade, the rock jade and emerald, but in particular, jade is a very sacred rock to the Mayans. And the reason is because the forest is green. Also, the bird that they say is the sacred bird is the quetzales. They named the money after the quetzales bird. Someone said, not traveling abroad is a conservative value. Utter nonsense. I don't know. I don't even know how to respond to that. Not traveling abroad is a conservative value. I don't know. Experiments with chimeras. What? Chimera. Dude, this is crazy. Good thing I drank a cup of coffee tonight. Like, what is a chimera? I've heard that word. Mythological chimera, a fire-breathing hybrid creature with the body and head of a lion, a goat's head rising from its back, and a serpent or a dragon for a tail, symbolizes chaos, unnatural combinations, or monstrosity. Slain by hero Bellerophon, riding the winged horse Pegasus. Whoa. All right. Chimera. Yeah, I hear you on that. Bigfoot and Dogman. Oh my goodness. Someone says Tua Azurite stone was in the Bermudas, the old Atlantis. Yeah, I mean, you could get into the whole conversation about what it was that gave the Ark of the Covenant power. That's a real conversation right there. I mean, that's what's so fascinating about history and power sources and scriptures and laws of the universe. And I mean, all of that, the supernaturals and all that, it's interesting to know. But again, I wouldn't make any of it my God. I wouldn't follow any of it as the aficionado, the gospel of reality. But I think just like mathematics, I always tell people, like, could you say that mathematics is magic? I mean, you make this wall 10 foot, 10 foot, 10 foot, 10 foot, you make a more structurally sound structure. Is that magic? No, that's just intelligence. It's like forecasting the weather. Like, is that magic or is that just projections and forecasting? Like, where do you draw the line between what's supernatural and magic and what's kind of like science, right? It's like with the tracking of the stars. It's like you could say that the full moon, you could just ignore the full moon and be like life as usual. Most people do, but you will notice that there is some changes on the full moon, the tides and other things. So it's interesting. Like, it's like, do you subscribe to the moon calendar or the sun calendar, the Gregorian calendar? I mean, if you look at how many cultures or societies across the world, New Year in the Western world is January 1st. That's Gregorian calendar. That's Roman. Before that, there was an actual Roman calendar, and the Roman New Year, I believe, was what, March 1st? If you look at the Chinese New Year out here in Asia, they celebrate the Chinese New Year, and that is typically around February. This year, it started in January, late January. That's a whole different New Year. In Islam, they have, and that's just I believe that's a lunar-based calendar. In Islam, they have a lunar New Year, and I believe that's happening in June this year. So there's all of this different stuff, and I just am curious about it. I like to learn things. So if I'm learning about it, it's just new information, stuff that I pick up along the way. And, like, just because I learn about it doesn't mean that I make it my God. It's like when I went down to Guatemala, they have this whole thing with this whole, like, they have a whole astrology thing, like based on numbers, based on colors, all this stuff. So, like, there's another thing that I even saw online. It's called the astro lines. Have you guys ever heard of astro lines? Let me tell you about astro lines. So again, it's just fascinating to hear, But astrolines, what it is uh, yeah. Wait, let's see here. Astrolines astrology. But so there's these people that say that depending on when you were born, blah blah blah, all this stuff, it depends on where you should live in this world. So it's called astrocartography. Shows how different locations on Earth affect your life based on the positions of planets at your exact time and place of birth. The map displays lines representing where planets were angularly. Oh, that's a hard word to say. Rising, setting, overhead, and beneath where you were born. So the astral lines, ascendant line, planet rises on the eastern horizon, descendant line, midhaven line, ammonium line, and then there's the sun lines. Okay. So they take all of this, and one of the craziest things, and I'm not joking around, my astro line was in Sulawesi, Indonesia. That's where they told me I should live. I got to go there just to see if that's where I'm going to be the most line. I was like, that's wild. I was like, oh, is it Phoenix, Arizona? No, it's farther. But it's interesting because I do spend a lot of time in that Asia amphitheater. I feel more like chilled here. I feel more relaxed in the Asia amphitheater. But I mean, does it mean that I'm going to like someone asked me earlier on the chat, are you a Capricorn? Like I know enough about Capricorn, but I haven't looked at my horoscope in like over a year. Like occasionally I might be like, what did my horoscope say? Like, or someone will ask me and I'll check. But I just know that I'm a Capricorn, but the astrocartography doesn't mean I'm going to move to Sulawesi. But if you go online and you type in, what is my astro cartography, someone has built websites where you put in the date and time and location of where you were born and they calculate it and then they give you all this information. You might have to pay for it though. So we'll see. Someone says Nevada is a Scorpio state admitted to the state on October 31. Thanks to 260 people who smashed up the likes. Nice. Someone says they're creating a 2x6 freeway lanes, 2x2 HOV lanes, 2x3 frontage lanes in Broadway curve in Phoenix equals 22 lanes. Come on, Arizona Department of Transportation, you could do better. 22 is woke, 44 is holy. Oh man, are you kidding me? 22 lanes? It's like Houston. It's Houston. Someone said, I was a little bit too late to live. Can you briefly recap why life in Arizona is about to change forever? Dude, I want to do that for you, Southwest Desert Explorer. Wow. You're gonna have to watch it from the beginning, but I'll just give you. We were talking about how fast life is changing, how everything around us is changing so quickly, how so many of the officials who run our societies are talking about like how AI and technology, the financial system, uh, just how it's impacting people's minds, and we all have to prepare for what's coming in this change of mindset because the financial system's about to change, the job situation's about to change. Like jobs are going to be phased out. The gig economy is only going to last for a little while, and then what are we all going to do? So we have to like get ready for possibility of UBI, universal basic income. Like this is a possibility. This could be happening a lot faster. But I mean, we talked about like 5 or 6 different key points, but it's all in the beginning of the video, and I'm too tired to like go back into that because I actually went back into it a second time around the 30-minute mark. And we're at an hour and 33 minutes in. So to rehash the whole thing over is pretty intense. Countries have their own astro sign. Yeah, I didn't know about that. See, this is how I learn things, even on the chat. I know that in Hawaii, they used to say that the area around Hana is the chakra of the island. I don't know how they determined the island chakra, but it was funny. Oh, I'm getting all these Robinhood notifications. What is going on? The market's crashing or something? Is the market crashing? Why is the market going down right now? I usually pay attention to that, but I'm just curious. Does anyone know why the markets all financial assets they're not crashing, but they're down like heavy. Like there was a major dump on the markets. Let's see what positions are down right now. Apple's down, Palantir's down, but the S&P's up, and so is the Nasdaq. Okay, so I guess some of my positions are down. Uh, wow, that was a bunch of unique. AstroSeek. What is AstroSeek? Someone said, been trying to move out of Arizona from Minnesota for years, trying to move out to Arizona. Jobs available don't pay anywhere near what is needed to raise a family. Housing is a lot out of control. What this is what I'm saying. Like, it's unsustainable. Pay versus what you're paying, what you're bringing in, it's unsustainable. You're literally like on a. Are any of you guys feeling like you're getting ahead? No, seriously. Let's have an honest moment. This is for everyone in the chat. Be honest. Do any of you feel like living in Arizona right now, you are able to get ahead? Yes or no? And then I'll add a second question to that. In the last year, do you feel like inflation is up or down? This has nothing to do with politics. This has everything to do with, do you feel like the truth is the only thing that matters? The truth will set you free. Okay. Are prices going up? Are they staying stable? Or are they going down? There is no reason for any of you guys to bring any of your politics into it. It's just the cold, hard truth. And I'm asking you, the audience, because I could give my opinion, but that's what I do all the time. So let's see. Fire guys, no, no. Even here in Nevada, no. Up. Oh, Daniel says he's up. Cynthia says no, no, not yet. Up. What? Oh. When you guys are saying up, you're talking about inflation's up. Okay, so all right. So if you think inflation's up, just write up. If you can't get ahead, write no. If you can get ahead, say yes. I have yet to see a yes. So in all of this chat, not a single person is saying that they're able to get ahead. And I don't remember a time living in America where I was around people that were not able to get ahead. Like there was people who were booming, thriving, doing great. I don't remember this much like recession or depression, except for back in 2008. I think that was the case. But let's see here. Someone said can't get ahead. Spice it up. Go somewhere fun. Said to Bob. Oh, house insurance has tripled in 10 years. We have water shortage. Dump TSMC on us. Oh, TSMC. One of those factories requires 50 million gallons of clean water, and it makes carcinogenic result. So here's the way I feel about economic progress. Number one is TSMC in net should be a positive. All things bring with it nothing's perfect, right? You can marry someone. You think everything's perfect, then you realize no, they're not perfect. So TSMC, are they perfect? No. But do they bring economic opportunity to the valley? Yes. So with it, they're going to bring some negativity. So it's good that you bring up that they've hoarded a lot of water and they've caused some carcinogenic situations. But we can't stop progress. See, you got to move forward. We can't be so scared of progress that we're like, oh, we're not going to build the high speed rail because it's going to cost so much. It's like, no, we got to invest in the future. Like America was never a country that didn't. This is why we're actually behind China right now. China has a very forward thinking progress. They're like, build it, build it, build it. Say sorry later, build it. We'll say sorry later. We'll say sorry later. But in America, they're like, don't build it. Don't build it. It's going to cost too much taxes, too much blah, too much this, too much that. It's going to cause too much environmental damage. So we've got all this red tape in place. When America was doing its best, we were building the Empire State Building. We were building the Hoover Dam. We were building the Glen Canyon Dam. We were, building the most state-of-the-art airports. Nowadays, we can't build nothing because we got so many people complaining. And I'll be honest with you, it's the boomer generation's mentality to complain about darn near everything because they're the greatest generation. Their parents were the ones who built all the cool stuff when we had the building booms. So I think we got to stop complaining about progress and get back in the state of progress. Otherwise, we are going to get outpaced by everyone. The Saudis are going to outpace us. That's why Dubai is booming. That's why China is booming. That's why countries are blazing past us. That's why they're getting all the contracts everywhere else. China's building, high-speed rail in Laos. They're building new airports in Peru. They're taking over islands in the Caribbean. I mean, the reason is because they're willing to build things that the United States just won't build. And we've got to get out of that mindset. I'm telling you right now, I feel very strongly about that. We have to remove some of the red tape and get back into the mindset of build, build, build. And if you're going to make mistakes along the way, it's like starting a business. You can't start a business if you're too scared to get started. You gotta start, and you can't be scared of making mistakes. You can't be scared of failing and going into debt. You can't be scared, but because you gotta try. You gotta try. So yeah, nothing's perfect. It's like moving to Arizona. For those of you who are going to move to Arizona, you're all waiting for the perfect time. It's like there is no perfect time. The perfect time is now. Because once you go, it's a leap of faith. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I mean, yeah, you want to be pragmatic and you want to have contingency plans in place, of course, but you get what I'm saying. You can't procrastinate. I'm not saying just, if you pee in the wind, the pee is going to come back to you, right? So you got to pay attention to where angle you're peeing, I mean, you don't want to be just totally ridiculous and be willy-nilly about it, but you don't want to sit on the sidelines and just wait, because, the guys who are too scared to get in the game because they're scared to get tackled, they're never going to score a touchdown. The guy who's like, give me the ball, that's the guy who's going to score all the touchdowns and get all the money. You get what I'm saying? So America's got to get out of this mentality of being like too scared to do anything, too scared to touch anything because of all the red tape. We got to get back to brass tacks. What puts points on the board? Oh man, there's a lot of comments in here. I'm trying to read through them. Someone says, you are correct, but I will function in it and go hiking and off-roading all the time. God's world is man's world as little as possible. Stop giving the pentagram $1 trillion every year. Whoa. Where did that? I was on board with that until the end. I don't even know what that means. Pentagram. What is going on? You talking about the Pentagon, the pentagram? I don't know. Someone said, Elaine says, I thought I would when I moved here in 2018. Now I feel it is hit the same as what I left in California. So it's better than what I left, but I'm not feeling that I'm doing better as expected. Yeah. I mean, the grass is always greener on the other side. Everyone thinks like, oh, once I make $1 million, all my problems go away. Well, life might get easier financially, but also more money, more problems, right? Oh, well, once I move to Arizona, everything's going to be great. And I see people who say, the best decision I ever made was move to Arizona. And then I see people who say the worst decision I ever made was moving to Arizona. I'm moving back. Like I even saw a video that said that Californians are leaving Austin. So all these Californians moved to Austin to get away from all the California blah, blah, blah. And now they're going back to California because the grass wasn't greener on the other side. But they thought all the problems were going to go away if they just moved. It's crazy, right? I mean, this is how it works. Oh, Pentagon. What about the Pentagon? What are you saying about the Pentagon, my friend John? Woody's Lost Highways. Prescott would be a great place to move. Prescott, yeah, because Prescott, you can go up into the woods, potato patch, right? Up into the Bradshaws and the Prescott National Forest, or you could go down into the valley, into Prescott Valley, or you could go up into like Chino Hills, Chino Valley. It's kind of cool. Everyone is talking about building, but you need to give that idea to the big corporations who build elsewhere because it's cheaper. Yeah, I mean, corporations, everything. Like I was having this conversation with someone today. I was like, dude, we've lost our entire soul, man, because we don't have any arts. We don't have any real culture. We have culture. Like our culture is like football. Like seriously, what is our culture in America right now? Our food culture is like, what is our food culture? Chili's? Like, what is Tony Roma's? What's our food culture? I mean, you go to Italy, you know what the food culture is. You go to China, you know what the food culture is. You go to Japan, you know what the food culture is. What is the American food culture? Please tell me it's not hot dogs. Good gosh. Oh my gosh. But it's not Hot Pockets. This it's like corporations have just completely just stripped us of our identity. So even in Phoenix, I mean, every corner that's being developed is being developed in the same way. That's like the new culture. It's like, okay, we're going to put a Sprouts, we're going to put a Supercuts, we're going to put a nail salon, and then we're going to put a Carl's Jr. or a Burger King and a McDonald's. Then we're going to put a QT. We're going to put a QT right next to it, or a Circle K, and then we're going to put a tire and auto place over in the corner, and then we're going to put like three other buildings. And it'll be like an accounting area, like an accounting firm, like an HR block, uh, an optics for eyeglasses. And it's like you go to the next corner over, and it's pretty much the exact same thing, but just a couple different interchanges. It's like, where's the culture? Where's the culture? Where's the uniqueness? Where's the arts? Like, everything's got to be made of like, styrofoam and stucco. Like, nothing's built to brick and mortar. Like, there's no, like, I mean, you have to, those new houses built in Queen Creek. Yeah, they build a lot of them, right? They can build them real quick. It's like wood, stucco, styrofoam, insulation, drywall, concrete floor, roof of wood, and tar and plywood. How long are those houses going to last realistically? Like, in 100 years, what's going to happen to all those homes in Queen Creek? Like, what is the shelf life of all of those cookie cutter, look the same stucco homes? What's the shelf life on all those homes? And what are they going to do when those homes are no longer structurally sound? Are they going to last forever? Like, how long will the wood last, for one? I mean, I don't know. I mean, but you look at a house that was built in Boston, made out of block and rock. I mean, yeah, that was, they had to rebuild it, but I mean, they had a foundation to build off of. But I don't know. I don't know. You guys would have to tell me. Anyone a builder here, you tell me how long those homes, the way that they build things in Queen Creek, will last. Yes, everyone, all the builders are like, well, by that time I'll be long gone, so it won't be my problem. Someone else will have to deal with it. True. Someone says, hey, I'm about to move to Sahuarita, Green Valley, retired, where an old person can be an old person. Yeah, that's true. Keep those corporations out of there for as long as possible. That's the good thing about the boomers. They at least know how to like preserve their old retirement communities. They got the old world mindset in those older people places. Someone says, give me a mid-century home. Yeah, like, there's homes that have been built in the 1700s still existing. But I don't know about these new homes that they're building. Seriously, don't you guys ever think about that? Like, you ever go out to one of those job sites where they're building one of those Trek home communities and just walk around like the homes? I mean, just walk around, just be like, or even just go shopping for a new house, a new build. You'll see how they build them. It takes them like a month, 2 months. It depends on how slow the builder wants to go. If they really want to do it, they can do it in a month. But nowadays, it probably takes like 3 months because they deported half the workforce back. Seriously. Someone says, my apartments were built in 1978 and they suck. Upstairs. Yeah, I mean, think about it like this. It's built out of drywall. How many leaks, if it's 2 or 3 stories, how many leaks do you think in that 30-year span have been in that apartment? Most of the cosmetic damage from that leak is behind the drywall. So how much mold do you think could possibly be in that apartment building because of all that drywall? Like I said, all they have to do is replace, to the average renter or the average buyer, you don't see what's going on with the rot behind the scenes. All you see is the wall. The drywall's been replaced. It looks clean, but you're sitting there coughing and sneezing. You have no idea what's going on behind the scenes, and you'd have to take the whole darn building apart to know where the mold was or the rot. People don't take that into consideration. That's the problem with upstairs, downstairs apartment units, even houses like that. if you're the second or third owner of a house that was built in 1987, it's built out of drywall and stucco. You're on this, it's a 3-story house. You're the third owner. You don't know where the first or second owner had leaks, because all it takes is, I don't know, maybe the kid forgot to turn off the faucet. Maybe they forgot to turn off the faucet when they were doing a bath, and it overflowed, and it seeped into the walls and then down, and then they never properly dried it. This is all over the homes and stuff in Phoenix. People don't even realize it. Someone says, crap, I'm terrible, or is crap is terrible. I'm in the market for my first home right now, for home everything. I would say new builds are the way to go. I mean, I don't really, and I hate to say that because it's like old builds need love too, but if it's not built out of brick and mortar or like old construction, if it's drywall and stuff and it's over 20 years old, I'm not really trying to recommend that, especially at the prices they're at right now. Maybe if it was on discount, you know what I'm saying? Is anyone, you guys picking up what I'm putting out? I mean, you think I'm off my rocker with what I'm saying here? Because uh, mold is a thing. And, think about a 30-year-old house with the way that, if you ever walk around any of these construction sites, and these construction sites now are more modern, they've learned from the past, but imagine how they were building homes in the 90s and the 80s with the materials and stuff. Asbestos, they don't even build with that for a long time now. Most homes have been stripped of all that. But what's in those homes now that we're going to determine was, toxic? So someone says, how many pediatricians died last night killed by hit and run drivers in Tucson and Phoenix metro area? What? I didn't hear about it. Elaborate. Yeah, just go with the new build, in my opinion, versus 90s and prior. Well, if it's built out of block, or if it's like properly built, take it. I mean, I would take a home that was built in the 80s or the 70s that was built out of like brick and mortar or block over any of these, even a new build, for sure. Like if I needed to retrofit the plumbing or the electric, fine. But at least I know structurally it's not going to be contaminated. Someone says, I live in an Airstream, or you could do that. I mean, that seems like the minimalist lifestyle a lot. That's what I was telling you guys earlier on this thing. Like, I've become a digital nomad. Like, and I know that's like a cliche phrase, and I use that because I don't know what else to call it right now. But I consider myself a nomad, because I'm nomadic. I move around. Like, that's what I do. And the reason I choose to do this is because I don't get attached to any physical location so much anymore. I'm an Arizona boy. I'm born and raised in Arizona. But at this point in time, like, being nomadic, being moving around is more, it's good for me because I don't get bored as easy. I stay more active. Like, let's be real. You stay in one of those condos or apartments in the city, like, you can only walk around that apartment so many times before you get bored doing that kind of exercise. And you got to get in so many steps a day. And then in the summertime, it's so hot in Phoenix, you don't even want to go hiking. You don't want to go outside after 10 a.m. From 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., it's too hot. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to get your exercise? You going to go to the gym? Seriously. And then people wonder why Americans are obese and overweight. What do they do when they get bored? They're not fasting. It's not like people are like, hey, I'm going to go on a low carb diet. Yeah, some people are, but like the average American's like, oh, I'm bored, I'll just start snacking. And then they get so used to snacking on junk food, and then they're just packing on the calories and they're not exercising. What do you think? That's a recipe for obesity. And our leadership, the country's leadership, doesn't even want to talk about that. They do. Like, there's this fringe of people who talk about it, but they hardly do. I mean, that's the national emergency right there, obesity. Someone said brick, and even the obese, you can't blame the obese people. They're a product of the environment. Like, how many of you struggle with weight gain? Probably most of you, right? Even me, I do too. That's how I know about it. That's why I chose to be nomadic, is because, like, I wanted to be like active. Because if I was just if it's cold or if it's hot, you're staying indoors, you're not being active. Unless you have a job that's like construction, like construction workers are very active, right? They work a lot. Someone says keto is the answer. Keto is, yeah, sure. That's a very, I'd rather eat anything and stay. I like a lot of people. You ask some of the most fit people. You say, "What do you eat?" I don't restrict my diet. Well, how do you stay so fit? I exercise. So a lot of it is staying active. Like staying act. Yeah, I mean the food supply is also that's a whole nother subject. Thankfully, we have someone in the government addressing that with RFK right now. It's like a big thing right now. Is what he's doing, like getting rid of like red dye and what else did he get rid of? He got rid of some other things like titanium oxide that was in Skittles. Like, a lot of people like, why is titanium oxide in Skittles? I don't know. Why is red dye in Skittles? So you mean to tell me Skittles had red dye and titanium oxide, and like both of those are like really bad for you, and they have to be told to take it out. And then there's people out there saying like, oh, that's messed up that Skittles had to remove it. It's like you're sitting there going to die on the sword for titanium oxide and red dye. Like, is that really what's important to you? Come on, guys. Someone says, I feel like I will lose weight when I move there. Well, you got to be active. I mean, that's the key. You got to, wherever you move, you got to, that's why it's important to that's the good thing about Scottsdale or like around Tempe Town Lake. They have those bike paths. So, like, you can wake up in the morning and ride the back bike path along Rio Salado, both sides of that's what's good about Phoenix. They did put in those bike paths. They have the green belt in Scottsdale. But honestly, if you live in Mesa, there's no real green belt. You could go along the canals. They need to do a better job of making the canals more bike friendly and ready for that. But Glendale, West Phoenix, good luck. Good luck. West Phoenix does not, like, especially around like the avenues of 22nd Avenue over to like 60th Avenue. There is no, you're pretty much confined to, it's just no good over there. But if you're in a small town, you live on a lake in Show Low in the White Mountains, heck yeah, every single day you can go for a walk and enjoy the fresh air. And that's the thing with living in those cities. See what I'm saying? Someone says European food tastes better. Thanks to the 296 people who smashed up the likes. Smash up the likes. I'll keep going. Last time I did, I said if we reach 200, I'll keep going. We'll keep going. We're at an hour and 57 minutes. I don't think we've ever done a long live stream like this, but thanks to the latte, no sugar latte. See, no sugar. I like sugar. Don't get me wrong. I love sugar. Oh, I love salt too, but it's not good for you. So, you know, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't eat like dessert. Like some days you just gotta like eat some chocolate and some dessert. You can't just starve yourself of all the fun things in life, right? Someone says these people insane about red and dye Skittles. What is so you think that red dye and Skittles is good? What are you trying to say? No, I'm just curious because you made a big post about it that I definitely saw. Are you one of those people who thinks that RFK is wrong for removing red dye? I'm just curious. I'm not trying to pick on you at all because I've seen those people out there. They were like mad that he was removing titanium oxide from Skittles and red dye, and I'm just like, why would you be mad about that? If anything, you should be like, yeah, if it's carcinogenic, get it out of the food, especially if the kids are eating it. So I'd be interested to hear someone tell me why they would go to war and fight for that to be in there. Someone said no salt is good for you unless small amounts, enough sodium in our foods. Yeah, I think everything and nothing it's bad when you overdo it. It's like as long as it's still refreshing, it's okay. So it if a little bit of salt is okay, a little bit of alcohol, okay, but too much alcohol, bad, too much salt, bad, too much sugar, bad. And that's what we're having is everything's in excess, right? Jeff S, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Someone says, well, yeah, I mean, if I was going to go salt, I think they said Celtic sea salt. I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything, but Celtic sea salt, Himalayan rock salt, real salt, not iodized salt. Someone said table salt at least has iodine, good for the thyroid. Okay, see, I was told stay away from table salt. Now I'm being told table salt could be good. See, I mean, this is see, we got someone saying avoid table salt. We got saying someone saying take table salt. So someone said table salt in little round balls raises blood pressure. See. Someone says real salt, what I used on a carnivore diet. I would say for me, I would just stick with that rock salt from the Himalayas, Himalayan rock salt. Someone said, dude, everyone is a scientist. That's what I'm saying. Everyone's got an opinion. They'll say keto diet's the best, carnivore diet's the best, vegan diet's the best. I'm going vegetarian. For me, I'm like, I'm just sticking with balance. That's what I'm trying to stick with. I'm 42. I don't have it all figured out. That's where I'm at right now. I mean, who knows? Maybe I could go radical and just be like, I'm going carnivore, I'm going keto, I'm going vegan. All this crazy stuff people do. Um, Telemedicine is all about logging into your body and administering medicine into you remotely by changing your body chemistry on a molecular schedule. Oh, that's quite intense. I haven't heard that before. If you're sweating every day, then a bit of sea salt. Okay, this is something that I really like doing every day is going to the sauna. I think that I was going to say that I'm glad you brought that up because I think Arizona needs to meet what the Japanese and the Finns do with bathhouses, onsen bathhouses. I know it's hot in Arizona, but we need to someone needs to make onsen a thing where you're going into these saunas and the way you're supposed to do in a sauna or a onsen, the Japanese way. And I'm telling you, Japanese don't they're pretty healthy. And onsen is a big thing over there. So you're supposed to go into this, you're supposed to shower, go into the onsen or into the sauna, 10 to 15 minutes, sweat, go shower, go into the bath salts and into the jets, the whatever that is. I don't know all the things they put in there's three different tubs. And then after you do that, you go into the cold plunge. I can only do like a minute in the cold plunge. I go into the cold plunge, and what the sauna does opens up the pores. Those baths help exfoliate, open up, clean out the pores, and then the cold plunge closes the pores. Then you go back into the sauna a second time, sweat again for 10 to 15 minutes, go back through the process. I'm just saying the cold plunge is optional. Maybe you do the cold plunge at the very, very end or the ice house. But I'm telling you, you sweat out all those toxins. How much? You're not going to sweat like that on an average day. But at these onsens in a sauna, I would say saunas need to be more used. Utilize more saunas. It doesn't have to be infrared sauna. You just have to be sweating. Like when your whole body is just like dripping sweat and you're feeling it, sweat beads drip down your back, your body's getting rid of things that are normally inside you. So, I mean, that has been something that I found was very good for me. And if you do that 3 cycle where you go sauna, wash, sauna, wash, sauna, ooh, I mean, think about how much exfoliation you're doing. But afterwards, you definitely want to clean it. How sanitary are these places? Well, it's as sanitary as everyone else makes it. That's why I kept emphasizing cleaning off. So yeah, people need to be showering, and it needs to be mandatory. But Americans, Japanese are very disciplined. They're very a polite society. It's very clean. Like America, I would say 50% of you are gonna be, washing your crevices before you get in the tub, right? But I mean, I've gone to these places, these hotels where they got jacuzzis, and I'll watch like truck drivers stay at one of these hotels because the trucking company pays for it, and I'll watch them. Big guy looks like he doesn't even really shower in a while. He just goes straight, takes off his clothes, and goes straight into the tub, and that's his bath. Or I'll watch like someone who sleeps outside and they haven't like washed off and they just go for a pool swim and that's their first bath in 3 days. Well, that's why when you go to the pool, what are you supposed to do before you get into the pool at all these public places? You're supposed to shower. supposed to wash off. And that's not because you're doing it for you, you're doing it for other people. But how many people do you think will actually be courteous for other people in the US? So, I mean, it's got to be a rule. Like you have to make it a rule. Like it, and so like if you're someone who's got a so like you want to be at one of those places where they have a membership where people have to follow the rules because if you don't follow the rules, you can't be a member there anymore. That's that's how I would do it. Someone says, go work construction in the summertime, you'll be dripping. Absolutely. I mean, if you're one of those types of people who get in the good deep sweat the natural way, more power to you. You're going to save money and it's probably better anyways. I'm just saying if you're not sweating a lot like this, you should probably start because that's a good way to detox your body. I can't really think of a better way to detox. You're drinking a lot of water. You got to make sure you get enough water and electrolytes because when you're sweating out sodium. So in this case, yeah, you'd probably want to be getting a little bit of sodium back intake, right? Electrolytes. Someone said walking barefoot grounding is very good for your health. It absolutely is. JB says, just do your blood work. It tells you what your body is doing. Saunas are great for your health, even if you have the cold shower. Yeah, like cold showers. That was what was interesting. See, like going there to these Japanese saunas, they have a how-to manual. I would just geek out on it. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to learn from the Japanese. How do you do a sauna the proper way? Okay, you got to make sure you clean everything, get in all those there, be proper. All right, I'll get on board with that. And then like I'll follow the step by step and it'll tell you like what's the benefits, everything. But the English translation is a little bit off. But I was like, okay. And they'll tell you like what's the benefits of the bath salts, what's the benefits of the bubbles, because one of them just generates like these little white bubbles. And I've been meaning to actually like study it a little bit more to see like how to fully optimize sauna for health benefits. I also came around this when I went to Finland and the Scandinavia. In Scandinavia, they do this a lot. I was even thinking about like making one of these in my backyard. Like if I was to do it all over again, I would literally put a sauna in my backyard, in my house. Because those of you who are worried about sanitation, I would just build my own like bathhouse. They're real easy to build. You just take a bunch of plywood, book it out, and you get a burner. You get a burner, and all you do is you can even take some like scented rocks or scented, fragrant oils or whatever, essential oils, and you can just put a couple drops in the water and just take a little scooper and just dip it on that burner, and you just sit there. You just make sure that it's like sealed up. It'll heat up, and you could do this in your backyard. You could build a sauna in your backyard if you're really worried about how clean people are in public places. Just build the sauna in your backyard. That's what I was going to do. Build the sauna in my backyard. You just got to get one of those burners. That's it. You get those rocks and you put essential oils on it. You can be clearing out your sinuses and everything, sweating good. Hey, and I would even put the shower on the outside of the sauna so that once I got done, I could clean off. And hey, if I wanted, I could maybe figure out a way to make the ice bath, although that would probably be a lot harder. I'd have to find an ice machine and put that in my backyard too, so that if I wanted to create the ice bath, I could as well. But I mean, these are ideas, right? But yeah, I mean, knowing that the sweat opens up your pores and then the cold closes your pores. Really good information. Someone says tobacco clears my sinuses a lot. Well, there you go. There you go, my friends. Holistic. Someone's smashed up the likes 320. I'm going to get going. It's 2:08 in the 2 hours and 8 minutes into the live stream. Thank you to everyone who smashed up the likes. Thanks to all the new subscribers on Economic News Insights. I pinned the link to the top. I'll put links below. Let's see how many links I got. Let's see how many new subscribers I got on Economic News Insights from the chat. Let's go to it. And whoa. Lots of people came over to the new channel, Economic News Insights. So I'll see you guys over there, and thanks for watching. Thank you, everyone.